Hello and welcome to First Lady with Meghna Pant, an exclusive show on First Post where we bring you stories from India's foremost leaders, activists and thinkers. Today we are going to be joined by one of India's most talented actors, Kalki, who's also a compelling reminder that women need neither to be censured, nor controlled, nor pitied, but to be celebrated in all their emotional, intuitive and empathetic glory. Kalki will be speaking to us about the life of an actor and what it means to be an actress in an actor's world. So Kalki, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Meghna.
I wanted to start with, the life of an actor. Now, you've essayed, I think, some of the most difficult roles in the history of the Indian film industry. From your debut role as a prostitute to the cerebral palsy girl. My question to you was, how do you sink your teeth into these characters? Because you nail it each and every time. And I'm sure there's a huge process, there's a lot of hard work behind it. So what really goes on in your mind?
I don't know if I nail it every time. I see a lot of my own flaws when I see my performances. But I think that I've been lucky that I've had firstly very sincere directors around me who push me. Shonali made me work for 6 months for Margarita with a Straw to train and get into the part. Each director has their different processes, but I've had to do workshops for most of my films. So, and then I think it's just the personal excitement. Like, I still feel like a kid when I get a script and I'm really excited by a role, and I'm like throwing myself into the research, and I want to know more immediately. I Google the subject or find out more about it, and so for me that enthusiasm is still thankfully there when I get a good role.
Is there something that you'd call the most difficult character that you had to portray, and how did you then go about preparing for that?
The scariest was Margarita with the Straw, just because of the sheer responsibility you have to portray somebody with cerebral palsy. You're representing a certain person that you are not, and it's really important to get that right. So I was very, very worried and very stressed about that. And I told Shonali, and we kind of made a pact. We said, if in 6 months we're going to do, we kept doing a test every few months to see the progress in terms of how I was performing. And we said in 6 months, if we haven't managed to nail it, we will drop the film. We won't do it because it has to be authentic or not done at all. So that was a kind of trust that we had with each other.
And when we imagine you sort of preparing for a role, or any actor preparing for, especially the kind of intense roles that you've undertaken, I keep imagining this sort of intense exercise regime, or actors starving themselves, or going to the hair salon every day. What is actually, for the common person, this is the perception we have. But what is it actually like? What is describe a day in the life of an actor?
For me, it's like how not to get bored with the same repetition, because acting is a sort of repetition. It's like getting, whether it's learning your lines or learning a certain behavioral pattern of the character, if it's an older person or somebody with a limp or whatever the behavioral patterns of a certain person are. And that can't happen just by thinking and noting down, this person will have a weak left arm, this person will have a twitch in the eye. It's all right to think those things, but until you do them every day and it becomes part of your system, it won't look natural on screen. So for me, it's really about doing that daily riyaz. So for Margarita, I would spend 2 hours every day doing whatever ordinary activities I had in the day, but as Laila. So brushing my teeth or making breakfast or being on the computer or on the phone answering, much to the frustration of whoever picked up on the other side because they couldn't understand, because I had to do all those things every day in order for it to become muscle memory. So that I wasn't thinking anymore, as Laila, I have to pick up the phone like this. It became so natural that sometimes I'd go for a drink afterwards, and I would catch my beer like that, because I was so used to it. It became muscle memory. And I feel as actors, we don't do that as much. Like if you look at a musician, their riyaz is so important. And if, a violinist, when he's learning a song, will read from the paper the notes, but after a while, he doesn't need to look at that paper. And he doesn't even need to know what the note that's coming. His body knows the note.
Exactly.
His arm knows where to go next.
Yeah.
He's not looking here and playing, right? He can be somewhere else and play, and that's when you can emote. That's when emotion comes out in a musician, and it's the same for an actor. Once your body, you're not thinking about those things, what your next line should be, what your body should be doing next, then you have the freedom to really emote.
That's so interesting. You know, because when I'm also writing, I don't tend to navel gaze. I like to inhabit worlds that are outside my comfort zone, so that I go on a journey, and then hopefully my reader does as well.
Right.
So as an actor, is it something similar? Like, do you feel like with the different people that you're sort of imbibing, do you try to find similarity with your own life, or does the character become you? Do you become the character?
It's a mixture. I think definitely somewhere you need to resonate and make that character human by understanding or empathizing to the situation. But at the same time, you can't always be the character. You can't immerse yourself so much. If you're playing a drug addict, doesn't mean you become a drug addict, right?
Of course.
So I think the important thing is to understand where that character is coming from, and it makes you a lot more empathetic.
Exactly.
Right? Because you're going on, as you said, a journey into someone else's life. And suddenly you're considering all the other points, you know, you're considering, okay, where did they come from, what affected them, why did they become like this, and all of those
you become
things.
a much more sensitive person.
Right, and you're less judging, you become a lot less judging, because you're like, you know, until you've walked in those shoes, you can't really say anything.
So I wanted to also talk to you about what it is like to inhabit a world that is sort of patriarchal, an industry that is, you know, slightly misogynistic, I'd imagine, or at least dominated primarily by men. So how different are, according to you, female and male actors in, say, Bollywood?
Different means we are different. Biologically, we're different. But I think what's different is that there's a setup, a patriarchal setup, a system which is now being questioned very recently.
Exactly.
Which hadn't been questioned for a very long time. So it's still, I think, going to take a long time for things to change. But what is happening is that for a long time we've had stories which have been patriarchal. The stories themselves. So the story tells the story of a hero and the sidekick or the heroine who's
a scorekeeper,
who could not be, you know, who could also not be in the film. It's not plot driven that she's there. She's supporting the role of the hero. And I think that has started changing when you see a film like Piku or Queen, where the heroine is leading the film and it's not led by a hero. And I think that comes from the writing, the telling of the story. We need stories which tell the other side, which tell stories of women, or where women are not just sidekicks in the film, but actually have a reason for being in the story. So I think that's definitely something that is slowly sort of changing, or at least there's some introduction. You know, I think that as humans we are greedy and opportunistic, and as long as men have the opportunities, they will take all of them. It's for us to fight for those, and I really think that it's you know, it is women who stand up for themselves that are going to change things, you know. The other day someone asked me, this lady, she asked me, how can we help the cause of women? How can I help you? I love the work that you're doing. And I said, don't try to help me, just help your own situation, because that itself will change things. You know, you change your own life and people will change theirs around you, you know. And that includes men. Men will accommodate around a woman who starts to empower herself.
So for you, like when you look at you know, your journey so far as an actor and somebody who was an outsider who entered the industry, is the public life something that you strived for? Was it what you expected? Are you enjoying it?
I don't think you strive for a public life. Like you're not.
Were you like, I want to be famous when I was like 5 years old or whatever?
No, not famous. I always wanted to act. I remember being very enthralled by watching like movies, and you know, I was like, I really want to. I want to make people laugh and cry. You know, the power of that. But I don't think I ever thought of it from the point of view of I want people on the roads to recognize me. I definitely find that the limitation of celebrityhood is that you can't live the same life. But I do try immensely to stay sort of in touch with reality. I go and buy my own sabji in the market, and I do my own chores and things like that, so that I don't cut off from reality. I think that is important for me.
And there's never been a bad incident, say suppose when you're out, walking on the road, even though people recognize you?
There have been incidents, I would say more in Delhi, where people are just far more obsessed with stardom.
Okay.
Where it's just been too many people gathering, and I've had to rush out of, a Khan market or somewhere where you don't expect that kind of situation, and you have to get out. But in Bombay, never. In Bombay, my sabji wala is so disillusioned now. She's coming in her like kurta pajama, no makeup. But I think people here are kind of used to stardom a little more.
Yeah, I think so. Well, my last question, and we have a special round after this, which I think you might enjoy also. So, you are, of course, one of the, I think, most evolved people I've ever met. You're very intellectual also. No, seriously, I've always admired you so much for that. But for me, it's very interesting that you're in the industry of the Bollywood industry. So do you sometimes, like most, intellects, sometimes look down upon your own films? Do you sort of flinch while watching certain movies in Bollywood?
No, I don't. Actually, I'm not this big intellectual that people think I am. I really am not. I love going to watch a rom-com. Like, I love to go and watch quite a mindless film, and at the same time I completely appreciate art films and completely love documentaries. I think my favorite genre is actually documentaries.
Okay.
Because reality, nothing replaces reality for me. That's real stories being told and captured and not manipulate. Actually documentaries can be very manipulative, but good documentaries I think are beautiful observations of life. Anyway,
like I feel good slice of life.
So I don't feel that way at all. I enjoy a good blockbuster. I really do, and I've in my films I can be very critical, but I also think that I've learned so much from each one of them, and I've actually been lucky that I've worked with, for me, some of the best directors in the country, from Dibakar to Anurag to Zoya, and all very different genres. Not at all in this, some are commercial, some are independent. But I think there's value in all of them. Yeah,
definitely. One last question which I hadn't prepared, but I just wanted to throw it out there. Going into the future, where would you like to see women in the industry? Like, at what level? Like, is feminism really working there? Would you, as an individual person, do you think you can affect change at all?
I absolutely think you can affect change as an individual person, just by being who you are, in the sense practicing what you preach, rather than, all of us can't go out and work with NGOs, some of us do, but the point is that if you are in an office environment and you do see a certain inequality, injustice, you bring it up. Speaking about these things can just make your own life uprooted, and you don't get credit for that. The world can't see that. So, it's not like you're being hailed for your feminism, but that's real feminism. That's really the important feminism. Standing up for your own life. Even if you don't stand up for any other person, if you stand up for yourself as a woman, I think that's feminism.
Well
and
said.
If men do it, wow.
Yeah, that would be a great day.
That would be
for
great.
Everybody. Cool. Okay, so this is my most favorite part of the show, where it's a pop quiz.
Okay.
So you have to answer in like one word.
Lighting up.
It's a fun, fun, easy thing.
Huh.
So I'll just throw like 10 questions at you and you answer them. Yes or no, whatever, one word. So what do you want to most be remembered for? Good person or good actor?
Oh God. Good actor.
Women or men, who works harder in Bollywood?
Women. I'll tell you, I saw this Facebook video, okay, and it was like a girl dancing and she's doing ta 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 ta, and then the guy comes and goes ta. So like women have to do so much more to reach the same place as the guy. So that was a very funny joke.
Women or men, who has it easier in Bollywood?
Men.
Like all over the world, right?
Yeah, for the moment,
course.
yeah, mostly, I would say.
Okay. Beauty, talent or clout, rank each in order of importance.
Clout, I think. Although that's changing now.
Okay.
In fact, I would say clout is going down and it's more beauty and talent.
Okay.
I think if you have talent and beauty, you're pretty sorted in this industry.
That's great. Good to hear that.
Yeah.
Theatre or movies, where do you find better actors?
That's arguable.
One word when you think of love, practical or passion?
Traction?
Practicality goes under
Yeah, I think
window,
a
right?
true sign of love is when you don't mind your heart getting broken.
Remarriage, yes or no?
I don't want to get remarried, no. I think I do want to fall in love. I do want to find a partner. I think it's important to have someone in your life, a support of some kind. But I don't think I want to marry the person and their family.
More the family, right?
Yeah.
But we're very lucky in that you know, we can always, there's so many options now. You can do,
that's
I don't
true.
know, you don't have to be married.
Freeze
to
your
have a
eggs.
kid. Freeze your eggs, do artificial insemination.
Yeah.
Which I've
That's
been
true.
powering
That's
through
true.
for.
Yeah.
There's so many you don't need a man to have a kid.
Yeah. I mean, Coco is an inspiration when I see Konkana Sen Sharma, because I've just worked with her on a film. And, you know, Harun, her son is I think 5 or 6 now, and of course Ranveer is a very supportive partner, but they're not together. So you know, it's amazing that they managed. It inspires me. I think it can happen.
Being a single mother can work, I think. Yeah. But it's a lot of work, but it can work.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You know, in a world of imitation where people rarely play themselves, it's refreshing to find someone so authentic and original.
Thank
so thanks,
you.
Kalki, for joining us again.
Thank you so much.